Now that we have this sheet in front of us with a lot of data in it, something does not look good here. What does not look good here? I would say the formatting does not look good here. It is all some pieces of texts and numbers placed in the cells, but nothing looks good. Nothing looks presentable. It looks like it has been written in a sheet of paper and nothing has been done about it to make it look better, more presentable, and more eye-catchy. So for that, we have an excellent option from Excel, that is to format the cells and the rows and the columns. How do we do that? So without getting worried about that, let's get started with figuring out how do we format the cells and the rows and the columns. Starting with something on the top, that is monthly expenses. If you see, it's just another piece of text like any other, right? It has the same font, but where do you see all of these things? We see all of this, the formatting that starts with having the font right. The font size, the font, whether it's bold or italics or underline, and so on. So what should we do? Since this is the heading of the sheet that tells what exactly is the sheet all about, we need to know what to do about it. Okay. So we see that this is on the home tab. We have an option called a box called font, and this has different options. Number one is choosing the font that you want to use. The default is Calibri. Then is the font size. Then are two icons to reduce and increase the font sizes. Then you have the option to make it bold, make it italics, make it and have an underline, and then a small arrow where it says underline and double underline. Then you have different border options. You have the option to fill the color of the cell and change the color of the font. And then you have a small arrow right here to expand this section and have a lot of different options that will come to use when you will go through the next videos. Starting with this, the heading of the sheet. I surely want to make it look bold. I want to make it look different than all the other items in the sheet, so that the first thing that catches my attention is the title of the sheet, so that I know the moment I land up on the sheet, I know what the sheet is all about. So the first thing that I can do here is I can make it bold. So you see, I can make it bold. Now it's bold. What else can I do to make it look different and better? I can possibly increase the size of the font. You see, I can increase the size of the font, which was 11 by default. I can make it 14, 16, 18 or 20. Let's keep it at 20. Now, you see how different it looks? The moment you now come to the sheet, your focus or your attention goes first to monthly expenses, and you immediately know that this sheet is all about monthly expenses. What else can you be changing? So let's say I do not want to use Calibri, rather I want to use something more prominent, like maybe Arial Black or something else. Let's say we use Copper Black or maybe Elephant. Okay, yeah. So that's a different font here with a different font size and it being made bold. What else can you do here is you see here that the cells are different, right? These are in different cells. Since monthly expenses is too long a word, it does not adjust itself in this particular column. It spreads to the other columns, that is from A1 to B1, C1 and D1. So we can do something about it, but what can be done about it is we will see that in the next couple of videos. Let's leave it here. Similarly, while you absorb this a little and understand what happened, try it a few times, and maybe we can do the same thing of making things bold on the other subtitles or titles of the sheet. So what next do I want my attention to be focused on? Once I am through this, I want my next attention to be focused on is this title, is this particular row. So what I do is I make it bold as well, and then this particular column where we have all the titles, so I make this bold as well. Now we have all the titles I put it up in bold, but I do not change the font size this time because I do not want to have so many different sizes of fonts in the sheet to make it look very inconsistent and very much unmanageable. We have to also keep the sheet clean while trying to make it look better. We cannot make it look very busy or very different. So we make these titles as bold, we make this as bold. What more can I do here is, let's say I want to underline monthly expenses, and that is for that I use this underline command, and here I have monthly expenses as underlined. Similarly, let's say I want these to be underlined. I can click on here and I can make these underlined, and I can have this heading as underlined. Now I do not underline these, I leave them the way they are. Okay, so that's all about changing the font sizes, and some different options like bold, italics and underline. Now that we saw how to change the font size, the font name, the font, making it bold or italics or underline, I remove the underline from here for now. Now we get into next interesting thing. In our attempt to make the sheet look more better, more professional and more presentable, I look at changing the cell color and the font color. I can change the font color by clicking on this particular icon that you see here, that is font color, and I can use different variations that's here. So we have some theme colors over here, we have some standard colors over here, and we also have an option of recent colors, so colors that you have used recently, or you have an option to look for more colors. Let's say you did not find the color that you wanted to use in any of these places. So what you do is click on more colors, and here you have an entire sheet, entire color diagram from where you can choose different types of colors. So on the right, if you see, you have the current color and the new color that you are going to select, or you can click on the custom tab to look for more color options, make changes over here, drag your arrow here and look for the different types of colors. That's the color model. Somebody who knows more about colors would know this, but there's an easy thing over here, that is the hex code. A lot of companies or a lot of businesses, when they design their logo, they know what the hex code is of the colors used in their logo or in their brands. For example, let's say I have a particular red color and I want to know the hex code of my red color. What I do is I come to ChatGPT, openai.chatgpt.com. Okay, I minimize it so that I can do a side-by-side comparison of things. Cancel, and I make it a little bit smaller. I bring my sheet side by side to ChatGPT screen. Okay, here we have it. I think we can make it a bit more smaller. I don't need, okay, great. Now I was talking about hex colors. I come to more colors, and now I want to know the hex code of, let's say, red color. What's the hex code of red color? And I click on this. That's the hex code of red color. I copy it. Right where you see this hex code, I select this, I press an enter, and I have this red color added here. See this? That's the hex code of red color. And if I click on this cell again and I select it, it changes to red. Similarly, for the cell fill, what is this option exactly? Let me show you. When you click on this and you click on any of the colors, what it does is it changes the background of the cell. It does not change the font color, but changes that cell background, which was white by default. It changes it to whatever color we want it to be in. Could be black, could be gray, could be blue, whatever color you want to use. But you will notice one thing over here is that when we change the color of A1, it does not change the color of B1, C1, D1, which is obvious because we only change the color of A1. But my text extends to B, C, and D. So what we will have to do to make it look consistent is we'll have to select all the cells that we have here and click on the background color and make it all the same color. Now we have it look better. But the red color isn't looking very good. So what I would want to use here is white. Now white also has its own hex code. So let's say you do not know what the hex code is of. What is the hex code for color white? It's FFFFF. I copy this. I come back here. Go to more colors. Go to custom and paste the hex code that I got. And OK. And here I have it in white. That's about changing the background color of your cell. You can similarly change the background colors of these subtitles, make it look a little bit different by making them gray, changing the font color to white, making this again a different color. So you can play around with this actually to make your tables look better and different. These are the different things that you can exactly do here. Okay, so that's all about changing the background colors. With the background colors now changed, we move on to making the next change, that is adding some borders. What are these borders and how do we add it? Okay, so to add borders, again, if you see in that same font box, we have an option called borders, and you have a small arrow to select the type of border that you want to add to that particular cell or that particular row or that particular column. Depends on whatever you have selected. So for now, let's say I have selected these cells from A1 to H1, and now I want some type of border added here to make it look better. What are the options I have? I have an option to add a bottom border, I have the option to add a top border, left border, right border, no border at all. That is, you had some borders added previously, but you do not want any border at all. Or you want all to be bordered. Outside borders, thick outside borders, bottom double borders, and different options that you have. Then what option you also have is to draw borders, erase borders, border colors, line styles, and so on. So line styles is having a dotted line or a dashed line or all these different styles. Line colors is using again from the theme colors or the standard colors, more colors, and recent colors. And if you click on more borders, you get this tab where now you can do all the changes possible in borders. So let's select one of these. We select a fat border, and where do I want it? I want it at the bottom. Okay, color, I want this to be something that's visible. So let's say we select red color. So the moment we change the color to red, all the options change to red, and I make it red by clicking here, and I do a OK. Now if you see closely, we have this in red color. Do you get it? Let's do it again to understand even better. Let's say I want borders to be added to this entire area, not this but this. Yeah, I go to borders, I make it all borders. Now do you see all these cells have a border to it, but I want it to be a bit different. What difference do I want here is I wanted borders, but I want the outer borders to be thicker than the inner borders. How do I do that? I go back, I select on thick outside borders. Now the borders that is on the outside is thicker. Do you see this? I'm just trying to make this table look more user friendly, more better. Okay, now I have this. I also want the total column to have a thick border at the bottom, but have a different kind of border at the top. Let's see that. Okay, I want a double border, but not at the bottom. I want a double border, but at the top. I go to more borders, I select the double border, and I select here. Okay, and if I remove my cursor from here, I have double border at the top. And these are different ways to play around. I select this, I go back here, I select all borders, I come back here, I select all borders. So here you can play around with different options, different ways of doing things. The more you try, the more you do things, you will get an understanding of how things are working and how you can keep improvising, keep working, and keep making things or making your Excel look the way you want to look. You know, this is everything. The best formatted Excel sheets that you would have ever seen uses the same feature that I just saw you. Changing the font, changing the background cell, adding borders and adding underlines and so on. That's all. They have just done it so many times that they know what looks good and what does not look good, and because you are just starting, maybe you do not know what would look good and what would not look good. So that's about borders. Next we are talking about conditional formatting. What is this conditional formatting? Since we are talking about formatting, this is a very interesting topic, and I'm sure that you are going to love this one. What is this conditional formatting? Excel gives us an option to do conditional formatting. Okay. So what is this? I click on conditional formatting, that's on the home tab, and conditional formatting. Let's understand this. Okay, this is a data set from January, February, March and April of all the different expenses. I want to highlight all expenses that are more than $500. I want them to be highlighted as red so that I know, okay, these are the months and these are the categories that are where I spent more than $500. How do I do that? Excel has a shortcut to it. What's that? I have an option to go to manually to the ones that have more than 500 and highlight it as red, but that's not why we are using Excel. We are using Excel to make our life easy, and that's what we will be doing with this formula, conditional formatting. Okay, this conditional formatting, I go to a new rule. I create a new rule over here. The different types of rules: format cells based on their values, format cells that contain something, and so on. I use the simple one. Let's format all cells based on their values. Format scale, I want a 2 color scale bar. Not really, I just want a simple formatting. So what do I do to do that? Highlight cells. Okay, yeah, this is good. I want to highlight all cells that are greater than width greater than 500 and do OK. Do you see this? All the cells that were more than 500 are highlighted in red now. Now this is dynamic. If somehow you change the value of this to less than 500, it will automatically unhighlight it. So this is conditional formatting. You can make it look different by choosing different options. Let's say I want a new rule over here. The type is lowest value, number is 500. Okay, and this is a different type of formatting. You can also manage the rules. I can choose to delete this rule, the new one, and then I can change this rules format. Instead of this, I change the format to color green. Okay, cancel. Okay, there's some problem here. We come back to it. What we do is we remove it. I delete this one, apply. Okay, so I deleted this rule. Now I come back, I go to manage rules, I select this one, edit the rule. Okay, cells contain greater than 500. I want to change the format of it. I do not want it to be, I want to change the fill. Instead of this, I want to use a dark color, red color fill. I want the font color to be white, and I select OK. That's the format, and I click on OK, apply, and OK. You see the formatting changed. You can try different options once again over here. Similarly, you can do this for this particular cell, or maybe you can have had another option that is conditional formatting, manage rules. For all the cell values that are greater than 500, you wanted it to be red. Now I add a new rule. Cells that contain, say, cell's value is less than or equal to 500. I want those to be green. I want the fill to be in green color. Okay, and I want the text color to be white. Okay. Here we have it. Apply and OK. Now you see all the values that were less than or equal to 500 are now in green, and others are in red. That's conditional formatting for you. Go through this slowly, understand the idea, understand the concept, and you will find that it is nothing complicated. It's just a normal flow of things. The way you are thinking in your mind, that's exactly how you do it over here. Now I'll show you something special. I will use ChatGPT here. Okay, I want ChatGPT to suggest me how do I do conditional formatting. Let's say I forgot how to apply conditional formatting. So let's say I have total expenses of different categories in column F, from F4 to expenses more than say $1,000 to be highlighted in red while others in green. How do I do the same in Excel using conditional formatting? Let's see what Excel suggests. ChatGPT suggests. Now it is saying me to select the range from F4 to F8. Done. Go to the Home tab. Done. Select conditional formatting in the styles group. Done. Choose a new rule. Done. Use a formula to determine, in the new formatting rule dialog box, select use a formula to determine which cells to format. Done. Enter the formula for highlighting expenses greater than 1,000 in red. Use the formula. Okay, I copy this and I paste it here. Click on the format button. Go to the fill tab. Choose the red color. Okay. Then repeat the same steps. I again go to this. I create a new rule. Use the formula. I paste the formula, but this time instead of greater than 1,000, we use the formula less than equal to 1,000. I go to fill. I go to this. I select green. Okay. There's some error to it. Okay. We did something wrong. $F4 less than is equal to 1,000. Okay. Let's see if it works. Done. So now we have all the expenses less than 1,000 in green and the ones in. So that's how you can use ChatGPT to make your life easy without having to bother about how to use conditional formatting. So that was about conditional formatting and editing conditional formatting for your benefits. Great. So in this exercise, let us try using ChatGPT and create an exercise for ourselves as to whatever we have learned till now. What do we do here? So we take a Excel sheet and have ChatGPT on the left side by side. Now I have learned to use features in Excel like sum, auto sum, autofill, what else, average, percentage, etc. Now I want to create a table with some data so that I can practice all that I have learned till now. Help me create a table for the same. And let's see what ChatGPT gives us. Great. So ChatGPT gave us a table, and now what we do is we copy this table, let it complete. Okay. It has also given us the formulas to use and then the instructions. Let's just select this table and paste it here. And then we select data for our store as the heading. So I add this here and then the instructions for myself. And I copy the instructions here. Great. Now that I have to practice this, I remove all the formulas that ChatGPT gave us and try to fill this data up with all that we have learned, that was to do a sum, auto sum, do an average, calculate the percentage, calculate the percentage, do the formatting, and so on. let's say like if we have to use this, you can create a similar table for yourself giving the same exact input, and ChatGPT might come up with different set of data for you. Now what are the things that we learned here? We learned to do a sum, that was is equal to sum, do a sum, enter, and then we click here on the and drag it until here. Then we have learned average. So average won't work because we do not have different prices to compare over here. To be able to calculate average over here, we need different prices, but we do not have that. But we surely can add an average column here. Average. Now average of quantities sold, average of prices, and so on. So here we can do average of the quantities and average of the prices per item. Here it did not do what I wanted it to do, was because of the formatting. Let's delete this particular table here. Now for the percentage, I do this divided by the total, which again is not complete. So here I click on auto sum. Where do I find auto sum? No, let's now expand this so that we can use it. I minimize it and I expand my Excel sheet, and now that the job of ChatGPT is over, I click here for the auto sum. How did we do auto sum? Was by going to ins formulas, auto sum, enter. So here we have 750, here we have the percentage of sales, and now I go back to home and click on percentage to get the percentage. Next is I make this relative thing absolute by adding a dollar sign, so that I can drag and drop this percentage thing until the bottom, and here I have the total percentage. Now this did not come up because of the formatting. Let's see what the formatting is here. I click, do a right click, I format cells, and it's a general formatting. I want it as a currency formatting, right? So currency could be USD or INR. Choose this. Okay, I format this. I will have to remove the dollars from here because it is taking it as a text. So I remove the dollars, and the moment I remove the dollars, I get what I had to get. So these are a few changes that you will have to do when you copy paste the data from ChatGPT to, now see, we automatically got the average. I automatically got the average for quantity, average for the prices, and we can also do the same for average for sales. So average sales for the entire month, let's say, that's this. Similarly, we do it for the total, for the sum, and so on. Great. Now that we have all of this data, next what we learned was merging this. I merge this and do it as a center. I make it bold. I increase the font size to 16 or 18. I make the background as blue. I make the font to be white. That's the sales data. I center align this. Okay, I make it as a table. I go back here. I select the table. I make it all borders. Again, this is also in currency, so let us add a currency thing here as well. So in these, if you remember what we learned, we did not add currency in the middle ones, so I remove it and I do it like this. Make it left aligned, have it left aligned, right aligned, sorry, have it right aligned, and I add currency to this as well. Here we have it. What else did we learn? Okay, this looks good. Yep. So similarly, you can create a practice exercise for yourself, and that is your next assignment. You need to go to ChatGPT, open an Excel side by side, ask for whatever you have learned, and to create an assignment for you or create a table for you with different types of data, so that you can practice for yourself and submit it for my review. So I'll wait for that. Until then, have a great and a wonderful day.